Back to Energy 101 with Dr. Sam Shelton. Today we're talking about energy in the economy. Last time we talked about energy use in our society. That is the tail that wags the dog, and we're continue to look at that interaction of energy and society, and we're looking at how energy impacts the economy or vice versa today. So here's a curve that shows the correlation between the change in gross domestic product gross domestic product and energy use. So along the horizontal axis, we have year-to-year data from 2000 out to 2010, and you see that the red line is the change from the previous year of our energy use in the U.S., and the blue line is the change in our economy, measured by the gross domestic product. So, for instance, going from 2000 to 2001, we see that the gross domestic product went down in its growth rate, went down from a 4% increase in the previous year, down to 1.5% in the previous year. And when the gross domestic product declined, and its growth declined actually, then the gross domestic product declined and the energy use declined. So we see they decline together, not exactly the same percentage. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower. From 2001, the rate at which both the energy use and gross domestic product went up from 1.5% to 0.5% on the 2001, out to in 2004, it went to between 5 to 4% a year. And they went up together. When the gross domestic product went up, it drove energy use up. And then as it started declining, and looking all the way to the right with the recession that hit us in 2008, we see that the last year in 2000, as shown in 2009, that when the gross domestic product declined 2%, then from the previous year, the energy consumption declined by 1%. So there's definitely a correlation between the economic growth or lack thereof and the energy we use. So we're kind of locked into the concept that we need to grow the economy on a continuing basis. And what that means, looking at this correlation, it means that we need to look at growing energy use, because the two are distinctly correlated. Maybe not on a one-to-one basis, but very close to a one-to-one basis between the energy and the economy. When the energy demand goes down, the price of energy goes down a little bit, not much, and it depends on which one it is. But there's, of course, when demand of energy commodity goes up or down, generally the price goes up and down, so that's nothing new. But if we look here at energy price, this is the dollar cost per barrel on the vertical scale over here on the left. It goes from 0 to 160. And on the horizontal scale, we go from 1986 to 2012. And you see that the oil went to, on an average that month, went to $130 a barrel, $135 a barrel in 2008. And gasoline went to $5 a gallon. And many people believe that that is one of the things that cause problems with mortgages when people are filling up their SUVs to go to work and costing them $100, $150 a month. They didn't have any money left over to pay their mortgage. And what's the choice? Do you go to work or do you pay your mortgage? How much of that was a factor you can debate and is debated by the economists, but there definitely was some effect on the high cost of energy that we were paying and how much money that was sucking out of our economy, to the fact that the economy collapsed due to many factors, one of them being the high price of energy. And by the way, at that point in time, everybody in the world was producing as much oil as they could produce, trying to hold prices down. Everybody was. Saudi Arabia was, OPEC was, U.S. was, everybody was producing as much oil as we could produce. trying to supply more and more oil to bring the price down. And of course, by the way, when the economy did collapse, then the price dropped all the way to $40 a barrel there in 2009 after the economic collapse. So there's an impact there, of course, price and demand. Developing countries that want to improve their standard of living means increased energy consumption, like particularly we talk a lot about India and China. And those two countries want to improve their standard of living. People in India and China, just taking those as examples, have tasted what it means to have cars and to have transportation other than riding bicycles all the time. And they want that kind of standard of living that they know we live. And that means that they're using more and more energy. And if you look, this is an interesting plot here when we look at the connection between the economy and economic growth and economic status of a country and the energy use. Here on the horizontal axis, we see the energy use per capita. Energy use per capita. And we're not going to worry about units because it doesn't make any difference for the purposes that we're using it. But it goes from 0 out to 8. And you notice all the way on the right-hand side, the U.S. is out there and uses more energy per capita than any other country on this plot. There are a few more countries, I don't believe any of them use more energy per capita than we do, that are not plotted. And on the vertical scale, you have the gross domestic product per capita. Everything's on a per capita basis, so the size of the country becomes factored out. And we see that, again, the U.S. is way up on the high scale. We're not the highest. Some of the countries up around Norway and Sweden are actually higher in gross domestic product per capita than we are. A lot of people talk about quality of life being measured by the gross domestic product per capita. And you can debate that again, but that's one measure of quality of life. You see the Netherlands is out there as we come down from the right, upper right. There's Switzerland that's over there at $35 in gross domestic product per capita. And you come on down toward the bottom left, you got Bangladesh down there, we got India, I've labeled a few of them. Got India down there, we got Colombia down there, China, Mexico, Poland, Spain, Greece as we move on up the line. But again, it's one more way to look at the linkage between the amount of energy we use in a society and the economy of that society. So that's looking at one other aspect of the interaction between society and energy use, and that is with the economy. Thank you.